What the heck? Yo dude, oh my mama, there was no tornado. Did he just jump right into the stun? Hey guys, it's Kusi. With 12.0.5 being unleashed in an absolute disaster that even had Blizzard devs ego shaking to the point of them, and get this, right? Apologized.
I'll be damned.
That's crazy. It's only fair that today we wrap up everything that happened before the patch. That includes never seen before Vault. Well, for this series. Funny failures. And then the new shenanigans with the new patch in which we not only got buffed heavily, we also buff up our current gear to a point of attempting our first plus 12 key of the season. But before we figured out that the dildo of consequence rarely comes looped, I'ma need you to take one hand off your sack and actually hit the like button real quick, because if it ain't liked, it ain't right. Now this is where we at. 4 tents done, 1 depleted. And at the time of recording it's still Tuesday, you know, my day off. But here we are. Coming fresh out of Seed, it was time to revisit another old fart of a dungeon, and so we make our way to the academy to shove some nerds into lockers or something. Not only do we get greeted with some really nice buff of our choosing, either crit, haste, mastery, verse or healing taken, we also got arguably the most fun pull for DPS. At this time, I actually recorded it, and I almost caught up with the tank as well, lol. But since we are tree chopping, let's talk about the overgrown morning wood real quick, as I've still seen so many people struggle on this one, including in this poll. The core idea here is to not get distracted by the overwhelming joy to pet the damage meter because of the ads. Germinate has 2 phases, and I will talk about the phase 2 in a moment, but just know they rotate. First phase, every player will spawn 1 under themselves each second for 4 seconds. In the perfect world, you want to stack up and move together, so you put as many of them in one spot as possible. Which we did. Perfectly. Looks so clean. These ones don't fight back, and the goal of is to beat them off until the second Germinate hits.
What the fuck does that mean?
Which is 30 seconds later. Surely, you finish quicker. But during this phase, Branch Out debuffs the entire party with a bleed and summons a Resto Druid from TBC that attempts to heal the boss, or itself? No idea. It never went through, so I don't know. In order to remove this bleed, you need to stand in the big healing circle when Lil Stump dies. That's it. Easy peasy. Technically this zone also heals the boss, so in the perfect world you want to knock it away before it drops. But even if you can't, don't sweat it. It's way more important that the entire party loses the debuff, as even though it has a timer, it will refresh before it runs out. So if the boss takes some healing, whatever. The second Germinate will do the exact same thing, but this time all flowers, and that includes every single one of them that you didn't kill from the first rotation, will be considered the real Slim Shady, because they in fact stand up. Now, 2 very important things to note here. First, because they actually attack, they have a threat meter now. You should not nuke them the first second you can. Tanks need to rip aggro first, otherwise you get slapped, slurped and dotted. And at that point, it's rinse and repeat. So try to place the flower next to each other, focus little Woody ASAP when it spawns to cleanse off your debuff, and don't die to threat just because you got too horny. There's also a tank buster, but I'm certain as a tank you felt that one, so no further explanation. When it comes to Bird Boy, the fight is super easy explained, simply by playing it once. Every third of its HP, it will start to rip a fat AoE that you need to interrupt. To do that, you need to slap 3 balls across either of his nono squares. No idea what's better to do first. I'm a healer, I don't care. Both sides will trigger stuff to dodge on the ground, while the wind side adds a semi-hidden buff. You see, when you trigger this side on the boss fight, you spawn 5 different looking balls with a little blue marker over them. Every player can collect 1 of them, from what I remember, and these things not only increase your haste by an ungodly amount, they also prevent knockbacks, which means the blowing wind will not bother you for its duration. Super neat. Kinda begs the question if the wind phase is maybe better for the second trigger, so you have an execute damage. Does that make sense? The fire side simply adds a stun and an increased damage taken on the bird for a short time. So either way, if you have cooldowns available, maybe hold them for a few seconds to benefit from either the orb or the stun. When it comes to trash, there's one specific pack type that confuses me every time, so let me tell you to stack the hell up. The big floating wiener will always dash to the furthest target, and the small ones like to jump around too. The more you are stacked, the more, and stay with me now, the mobs stay stacked too.
You're joking.
And it just makes things a lot quicker. For Veximus, this boss also stayed pretty much the same compared to its Dragonflight original version, with the change of the actual damage incoming being a lot less. In hierarchies back then, this was the make it or break it boss, believe it or not. He hurts like hell. Luckily, It's pretty chill now. Collect the incoming orbs while watching the debuff. When you got no defenses up, you most likely can take 2. If you have the big one rolling, you can have 3. Move out with debuff number 2, I don't know what it's called, and make sure to not die when he has full energy. If you are a DK, you can just soak all 5 of the orbs every second rotation. But we don't have one of these, so we need to play it like gentlemen. So the key is, move out if you have the little ring. If you're ranged, just stay wherever. Doesn't matter, they despawn. And if he has full energy after the knockback, move. Stay on the move, don't die. And then there's Doragosa, or much rather, her manifested fart. Now this fight easily got the most changes during the season. This was a joke of a final boss fight beforehand, now it's actually a proper one. They sped up everything. More areas, more frequently, and more ways to apply the debuff, which then triggers more areas. I haven't found a proper way of playing this yet, since I packed most of my keys in here, but my guess would be to play it similar to the original. Make use of the room you have. You probably want to stack somewhat under the boss and then rotate clockwise, or hey, if you feel freaky, counterclockwise. Whatever gets you readied up, man. And then just rotate around the room. No idea how beneficial that is, but whatever. Just be aware that as a warrior you can spell reflect the circle, even if you're DPS, and as a tank you can send the AMS to block it from applying. It's not game breaking, but it does benefit you in the long run with a few lesser areas to deal with. For us healers, shit's rough, man. You need to be on the move constantly, and there's a decent amount of damage coming out to the party in a demanding manner. I told you it's a final boss now. Yet the only thing that's even more spicy than the fights are the rewards. Ooh, daddy. 150 to the bank, baby. Now, what else did we do?
I don't know, Jeff.
We 3-chested a Pit of Sauron. 3-chesting means +3, I guess. It's probably the most enjoyable 10 I've done all season. And then we had a Guardian Druid in Skyreach pumping so much damage, you kind of want to see how much they would be doing right now without them 60 nerfs they got in the past. Oh yeah, right, we went Nexus point. Now check this out. This Demon Hunter is a 3k tank. Literal demon. In a good way, right? Well, let's see. I'm so used to do the first room pull with the Bloodlust at this point, and I think it's very pack friendly too. So I was confused when we started this week 1 pull to the left. But I guess the goal is simply to use Bloodlust right away, so whatever. Spoiler, we didn't. Unfortunately, this pull hurts like hell. It really does. The left side of Nexus Point is not something I will be sad about once it's gone. These mobs have 2 super annoying mechanics going. One is similar to the early Treasured Seed, where they debuff people with a damaging spell that kinda slaps but is dispellable by movement impairing cleansers like Freedom. The other one is a dispellable debuff that redirects incoming healing. Fantastic. So they actually force you to use a global for dispelling instead of just muscling through with AoE healing. We somehow got through it, but now I need your help. What did he do here? We just finished up the pull, right? No last used. The last guy is unloading onto a nearby bomb, which nobody pays attention to because the tank jumped once, and then twice, and then died. So many questions. I get it, right? He probably farms this dungeon non-stop because of the rings, or I don't know, because he's hurt inside. I don't know, not my problem. But what is this dumbass decision making? Even if the party stayed to clear the bomb, you still would have been on your own for 15 seconds or so before we even catch up, because I can't talk about my party here, but I know my 2 Infernal Strike jumps have been on cooldown ever since I made this character. This was just grade A stupid. And unfortunately, this is a problem that Demon Hunters have every season. But you best believe he ain't a quitter. Yet. So we went again, he pulled, again, jumped, ran into a laser, got stunned, gets cooked, GG, go next. Not sure what would frustrate me more. Being the key owner having to play at 9 now because of this shit, or being the tank who tries to make it fast in a party without damage. Be that as it may, fortunately, I do not need to deal with any of this shit and just get into another key, and DPS hate that trick. Now this would be a part of where I show you any gear upgrades that happened, but the truth is, I looted only shoulder pieces so far, which doesn't get me anything but a wish for my vault. Speaking of, after that last Nexus point, we finally achieved what we wanted. And with this new fancy add-on called LuckyVault, you can make this into a little casino situation, which I'm all here for, because it means I can milk content. Awesome! So get this shitty delve item out of the way, let the excitement commence, and let's take a quick peek at lucky number 3, Myth Pants. Not bad, not mind-blowing either. I kinda wish for any sort of weapon or shield, if I'm completely honest. Door number 1. Oh great, even more shoulders, huh? Thanks, Ian. I mean, you know what, actually decent risks. Not bad at all. But I went with the pants because it gave me the biggest upgrade from champion to mid, and because pants give the most stats. And that now also means that it's worth investing into one of those hip lag enchants the kids love so much. Now then, because this is the reset after all, and 12.0.5 got released, what changed? Well, first we got some new open world stuff happening, which, I'ma be honest, I didn't give two shits about and I didn't look at it yet, so no comment. The more interesting thing, however, that after buffing up the Void Forge, or whatever it's called, we now can grab nebulous Void Cores. I hope that's how you say it. And I'ma be honest, I don't know how to feel about this. You see, these things are essentially free gear. You can use them to roll for an item after defeating a boss or finishing a Mythic Plus run, and then you get one guaranteed item off the loot table. And it kinda works in a way that you don't get duplicates. Or, it should. Raid loots cost 2 Void Cores, dungeon 1. After completing a 10 or above, you can even get a myth item for free, twice a week. Why? I mean, this is way better than the boring ass turbo boost, but way too soon, man. Way too soon. Disregarding me being unpleased with getting more shit for free, we also have some big boy changes that also come for free. Big healing increase, more control over our Apex talents, and buffs to both hero talent, one of which I don't care about. I'm telling you, everything I play gets adjusted. Tell me what you want to get buffed next so I know what to play in the future. Hey, surely Devourer needs some help. Now here's the thing, buffs are great. Free loot, kinda mid for my taste, but neither of which will help me for what's about to come next. Fundamental misplaying. Because I'm still missing a 10 or above time for Windrunners, I did apply for a few and eventually ended up in an 11. Very worried for a lot of things here. One is that I know for a fact that the trash will hurt. You can mostly manipulate it to not hurt, but that requires your party to do it. What worry kinda vanished very quickly was about the first pull. Our tank spoke through his actions and he said that he's here to time the key, not to min-max or limit test, I guess. And honestly, mad respect, man, do your thing. I've never seen this area be played in 2 pulls, and you can tell by my confusion that the door actually opens without the entire room being cleared. I didn't know that. However, because of the new affix, which is arguably the easiest to deal with, I couldn't be the one who plays the Firehawks proper. You see, when they start spitting, you want to CC them in any way, shape or form. It's so much damage coming in, and it requires the full attention of a healer to go through, and it just can be cancelled with one button. Naturally, I'm using my stun for it, but it happens way more often than I have it ready. But back to the affix, Solid Thought's Bargain, Ascension I think it is, will spawn 10 balls in a few seconds that are all casting a spell. You can kick them, you can purge them, or CC them in any way you see fit to take care of this. Blinding Light easily takes care of all of them. Unfortunately, my cooldown is a lot longer than the time between the affix spawns. There is a talent to lower the cooldown by 15, but that still ain't gonna cut it. Now, okay, you see I'm trying to ramble around to not show you the colossal failure I did during the Ember Dawn fight. In my defense, everything's red, man, there's just fire everywhere. And I have to heal, okay, so...
Man, shut your bitch ass up!
Just roll the clip. You see, in my head, we just came from that direction. There can't be a NATO. Turns out, that sucker came from over here, slowly but surely with one mission in mind. Fuck me sideways. And boy did it ever. But hey, don't worry, this is not another angle. This is the same shit, but different. Look at this, man. 2 NATOs go into the boss at the same time, so it looks like one. I dodged that one, and surprise motherfucker, I got blacked, the Fire NATO edition. You can tell by my response that I was 1000% certain this was a bug, and I just got cheated out of the game. I'm certain I've seen a NATO I have to dodge, and there was another one. Clearly I was wrong. Luckily these guys were way bigger gamers than me, and with that we used our very first bonus roll. Both trinkets are fine, weapon would be huge. Technically every item in there is an upgrade, but I don't want the hands on the neck. Baby! Now, because I feel the need to be specific about these items, I did Windrunners again a day later to redeem myself, and I bonus rolled a headpiece, which is a gigantic upgrade. Then I figured out that half my gear is still champion, so I rolled the dice on the public trading post and got these bad boys. And with that, I was confident enough to say YOLO and applied. The most hard-hitting dungeon, arguably. The most squishy tank, not arguably. And here's how that went.
Holy crap! That's a lot of damage!